Okay, so today we're diving deep into the world of fasteners. You know those little things we usually take for granted?
Yeah, definitely.
But believe it or not, there's actually a lot more to them than meets the eye.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about everything from the tiny screws in your glasses
Right.
to the massive bolts holding together skyscrapers and bridges, and
Mm-hmm.
even the rivets on spaceships.
It's true.
Pretty much everything we rely on in our daily lives is held together by some kind of
But
fastener.
essential. Yeah.
So to help us unpack this fascinating world we have with us today, an expert in the field of mechanical engineering.
Happy to be here.
So I guess maybe we should just start with the basics.
Sure.
What exactly are fasteners?
Well, in the simplest terms, a fastener is any device that's used to join or connect two or more objects together.
Yeah.
And they come in a dizzying array of shapes and sizes, each one designed for a specific purpose.
Makes sense.
You've got your bolts and nuts,
Yeah.
screws, rivets, anchors, and many others.
Oh yeah, I've definitely encountered those in my various DIY misadventures.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, could you maybe break down some of those categories for us? Like, what are the key differences
Yeah.
between,
Of course.
let's say, a bolt and a screw?
A bolt and a screw.
Yeah.
Well, a bolt is typically used with a nut to create a very strong clamped connection.
Okay.
Think about the wheels on your car. They're held on with bolts and nuts.
I see.
Whereas a screw is designed to be threaded directly into a material,
Yeah.
like wood or metal,
Uh-huh.
so it creates its own threads as it's driven in.
Okay, so like the screws I use to put together furniture,
Exactly.
would those be considered
Those would be wood screws, specifically.
wood screws?
Yep.
And what about rivets? I feel like those are kind of in a league of their own.
Rivets are definitely heavy duty.
Yeah.
They're used to create permanent, very strong connections that can withstand a lot of stress and vibration, like in airplanes and ships.
Right, makes sense.
So you're not going to find yourself needing rivets for everyday household tasks.
So, not for putting up shelves?
Not unless you're building a ship in your living room.
Gotcha. So we've talked about some of the different types of fasteners, but how do you actually know which one to use in a given situation?
Well, choosing the right fastener is crucial. For the integrity and safety of whatever you're building,
Yeah.
there are a lot of factors to consider, such as the materials you're joining,
Okay.
the load requirements, and the environmental conditions.
So like if I'm building a deck in my backyard,
Okay.
I would need to use fasteners that can withstand moisture and sunlight.
Exactly. You'd want to use something like stainless steel
Hmm.
or galvanized steel to prevent corrosion.
Makes sense.
And you also need to make sure the fasteners are strong enough to support the weight of the deck and the people on it.
Right. Of course, safety first.
Always.
Now, I know that the outline mentioned something about how different industries rely on fasteners in unique ways.
Yeah, that's right.
Could you maybe expand on that a little bit?
Sure. So let's start with the construction industry, where fasteners are literally the building blocks of our cities.
It's true.
Skyscrapers, bridges, tunnels.
Mm-hmm.
They all rely heavily on bolts, nuts, and anchors to hold everything securely in place.
It's pretty mind-blowing when you think about it. These tiny pieces of metal holding up these massive structures.
It is, yeah.
And what about the automotive industry?
Well, cars are basically a complex network of interconnected parts, all held together by thousands of fasteners.
Wow.
Everything from the engine and transmission to the body panels and interior trim.
So I guess it's safe to say that without fasteners,
Right.
our cars would literally fall apart.
Pretty much.
Now, what about aerospace?
Aerospace, that's a whole other level. The fasteners used in aircraft and spacecraft have to withstand extreme temperatures, pressure changes, and vibrations.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And they also need to be incredibly lightweight to help with fuel efficiency.
Hmm.
So they often use exotic materials like titanium and special alloys.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
So it sounds like the choice of fastener material is just as important as the type of fastener itself.
Absolutely.
Now, speaking of innovations, I understand there are some pretty exciting developments happening in the world of fasteners.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of cool stuff going on. For example, researchers are developing smart fasteners.
Smart fasteners?
Yeah.
What are those?
They're fasteners embedded with sensors that can monitor things like stress temperature and vibration in real time.
That's incredible. So, like, they can basically tell you if a structure's starting to weaken or if a part is about to fail.
Exactly.
Wow, that's amazing.
And that can help prevent accidents and improve maintenance schedules.
So it's like having a built-in early warning system
It is, yeah.
for all sorts of structures and machines. That's pretty mind-blowing.
And we're also seeing a lot of research into new materials, like advanced polymers and composites that are even stronger and lighter than traditional metals.
So it sounds like the future of fasteners is pretty bright.
It is. There's always room for improvement and innovation.
Well, this has been an absolutely fascinating deep dive. I have to say, I had no idea how complex and important fasteners really are.
Well, they may be small, but they're the unsung heroes of our modern world.
That's a great way to put it. So, dear listener, next time you see a screw, a bolt, or a rivet, take a moment to appreciate the incredible engineering that went into it. And remember, those tiny fasteners are what hold our world together.
That's right.
And that's it for our deep dive into the world of fasteners. Thanks for joining us.
It was my pleasure.
And until next time, keep exploring.
Keep questioning and keep learning, because the world is full of fascinating things just waiting to be discovered.
It is.